Hello and welcome to this video and Happy New Year! I thought it would be the best day to reflect on 2022, what with it being the 1st of January, and I was gonna, prepare and make myself look presentable, but then obviously I thought this is me and that would be a lie. So you've got me slightly sleepy, spots and all, and we're just going to have a look back at the crazy but brilliant year of 2022. So there have been probably 4 main life events in 2022, which, let's be honest, would have been easier if they weren't all in the same year. It's been a year of real highs, real stresses, not many lows to be fair, just the stress, and a lot of change, which so far seems to be very positive. I'm talking more about the move than the marriage. So yeah, 2022, the beginning half of the year was a lot about our wedding preparation and all of that kind of thing, because in the early part of June, me and Pete got married. So we are now husband and wife. We also celebrated our 11-year anniversary this year, so we've been together for a while, but we actually got married. And what with the previous years and COVID, it was just nice that it went to plan and we didn't have to cancel anything and all of that kind of stuff. And then the day itself was just as good as it could have been. I can't fault our wedding day. It felt such a, for me personally, it just felt very relaxed. Everyone seemed to be having a good time and was laughing, and the weather was perfect so that we could have the outside bit. Everything ran smoothly despite the slight hiccup we had the day before with our photographer, where we weren't sure whether it was going to go smoothly, but it did. And then all of the photos and things came out really well. Obviously the lead up to that day, there was a few stresses. There was a lot of my brain not coping with all of the stuff that we were doing, but that is partly because during that period we were also selling our flat in London. So the previous year we'd had it decorated right at the end, like December time. So also in that lead up to our wedding, we were finding an estate agent, getting the photos taken, having viewings, trying to get offers and all of that kind of thing, which did take some time. Flats without outside space in London were a little bit difficult to sell, but we found one. We got a buyer. I'm hoping that he is having a lovely time in our flat, because yes, we had outgrown it, not physically, but we were ready to leave it, but it was a brilliant first home. And I have missed it at points while we've been living in the rental flat in Sheffield. One second, Jeff's whining. Hey Jeffy. We've got a friend. Hey buddy. Selling is never a easy thing anyway, so that comes with its own issues, but for us the main one was the fact that our buyer wanted to move in quickly. Obviously it's exciting, it's your first home, all of that kind of thing, but our wedding also came into the time period that he wanted, so we managed to push it back to sort of late July, but it did mean that straight after the wedding we had the craziness of trying to pack up our flat, and we didn't want to sign any rental agreements in Sheffield or plan any of that kind of stuff until we knew that we'd exchanged, but then there's only like a week, 2 weeks gap in between those things, so then it was go trying to find somewhere to live. I'm currently filming in the rental flat that we actually have moved out of now, because we did that at the end of 2022, and there is a video coming up about all of that. Can you stop doing that please, Jeff? But it meant that I never actually saw this place. Pete came to have a look at it because he happened to be up here anyway, but I never saw it, so I just moved into it blind. but there wasn't a lot of option that would allow us both to have space to work and things like that, that would allow Jeff, that was going to be short enough time frame, because we had also had an offer accepted on a house. So you could tell why the year was a bit stressful at points, because obviously we then moved up here, but in that process we were also buying, which again has its own stresses and its own things that come up, you know, the things that you're trying to work out. And there were at points we thought we might be pulling out of the house that we've got, but thankfully everything there worked out, and we've now moved in, sort of. So yeah, that's the big things that have happened in the year. It's been like no other, is the only way to say it. I say all of the changes have been brilliant. It's just been a lot of hard work to get to each point. Weddings, they have lots of little parts and lots of little things, and you have to make sure that you've got information to suppliers at certain points that they need them, and you're coordinating. We had about 60 people at our wedding. You're coordinating essentially 60 people, making sure that you know their dietary requirements, you know that they're able to stay somewhere, that they're doing this, that they're doing that, and inevitably last minute things happen that then throw stuff into flux. But that process itself, I did really enjoy planning it up until the last little bit. The week before I quite liked. I'd taken it off work just to try and, you know, relax, make sure I'd been able to sleep, that we had time to do things. It's at that point that I wrote our place cards and things like that. It's the week after as well. I also took the week after off, where we went to Port Lim and we stayed in Leopard Creek, the little shepherd's huts there, and we just had a few days of proper chill. We pretty much turned off our phones. We sat by the fire in the evening, so we didn't have any like TV or anything like that, and we just relaxed after the craziness that was our wedding. And I'm glad we did go away straight after the wedding, because certainly some of my dad and my brother and some of my family members, and I think it would have been the same for me, said that after all of the build-up and the brilliance of the day, because we also had a family meal the Friday night, or family and friends, whoever was staying over, essentially we had that meal the Friday night. Obviously the wedding was on the Saturday, and then everyone was still at the venue for breakfast, so we were still talking then, and we then had a family lunch at Pete's parents'. So after all of that, Monday could have been very, I don't know what the word is, anticlimactic. It could have just been a real down, but for me and Pete, we were then going away, so it worked really nicely that way. And then we also had a few days in London doing things like Hi Jingo Bingo, which is a bit nuts but pretty fun. We saw the Harry Potter plays, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, which was something we wanted to do before we left London, which we knew was coming up. I think the hardest part of the year for me was the move to Sheffield, to be honest. The stress of getting everything packed up in that 40-degree heat wave, not ideal. Maybe we could have done things a bit earlier, but I'm not sure how we could have done things a bit earlier, because we were still working. I only took 2 days off of that week, so on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday I still had to try and work, while then in the evenings we were packing. So we may have been able to do things a bit earlier, but I'm not really sure because we were still using a lot of it. But doing that, the worry that everything wouldn't fit in the van, and then the fact that we ended up needing 3 cars, and thankfully our parents were very nice and came to help us with that. And then obviously coming in here, there was just a lot of emotion, and the rental flat that we had did lack space to put things, and that just blew my mind in the end, and was probably the hardest part, and the part where I went, what have we done? Why have we done it this way? I never doubted moving to Sheffield. I know it will be beneficial for Pete and Endpoint. I have no problems here. I think Sheffield seems like a great place to have as a base, and if we ever do have any children, I think it would be a good place to raise those, more so than London. But it was just the condensedness of trying to do it all that got to me, which I guess is understandable. It's just how it is. And then obviously we've had moving into our new house, which we haven't fully done. Everything is now, all of our furniture and stuff is now in there. Obviously I'm filming this ahead of that because I'm sat on a duvet and things, which is now in a flat. But you've got to grab the time when you've got it. And although maybe there's a few more things that need doing to that house than we originally thought, I do genuinely think it's going to be a really nice house for us to live in and a really nice area for us to be in. So I'm very excited to see how that goes and progress that and start putting our own stamp on it a bit more. So that is the main parts of the year. Obviously we've been doing lots of other things. We've been to a few gigs. I've obviously been to lots of shows, read lots of books. We've had some fun days out with Jeff, who you now can't see. And it's been a whirlwind, but a very positive year, all in all. So I think I'm going to end this video here because there's not much more for me to reflect on. Just that I hope 2023 is maybe slightly calmer. I think all of our big things have now been done, and we can just have a bit more of a relaxed year rather than high stress that 2022 was. But as I say, that stress all led to some really positive and exciting and just great change. So as I say, thank you for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, if you want to see what 2023 has in store for us, click that subscribe button. The videos that are coming out, we've got a few sit down ones and sort of plan ones because we're currently on our honeymoon. So then our honeymoon videos will be coming, and we're off to the Caribbean. So if you're interested in Barbados, a cruise and the Bahamas, do click that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.